week or so. It's been a pretty quick turnaround this time. How's it been going?
It's been really good. I've been, doing everything where I can, due to the freezing cold weather we have right now in
Yep.
New York. Um,
Uh-huh.
but obviously, being realistic that there's, got to work through the Joel's saying.
Hi, Bryn.
um, being realistic and still getting outside when I can. And
Yeah.
he's been doing so freaking good. We actually just had like 2 seconds ago, Alyssa's dad lives in Florida, so he just drove up with his girlfriend, and they just came and they only come, uh, we'll say once or twice a year, but
Yeah.
they're for some reason in Jeter's inner circle of people that
Nice.
no matter how long it's been since he's seen them, he
Yeah.
automatically just like has no fear, no nothing. He loves them. But that
That's
being
great.
said, I did, what I've been trying to do is I've been putting him on the leash and just creating that, I don't have any expectation of him, but I'm gonna work with what me and him have been working on, right? And just being like, hey, having expectation in the sense of like I'm saying ready, I have food, and we're interacting, like you don't get to just pull like a crazy man because we've been working on this, right? And I'm not punishing him, I'm not doing anything, I'm just like, being patient and just kind of standing there with the food, and he's coming back to me and kind of, pinging off me a little bit, which is
Nice.
progress because I'm treating, obviously with the baby on the way, I'm treating excitement and that emotion of, hey, I'm blowing you off because I'm going to go say hello to these people. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I've just been working on, kind of like our, meditation and, just staying calm and just standing there holding the leash. And I'm like, all right, you're going to pull. But eventually I know you're going to, turn and look at me. And then I've been, yes. And I've been like, running kind of away, like with him, like away from it, and then slowly making progress back and forth. Um,
Nice.
so that was just, haphazard. That just happened because they drove up from Florida because they have a whole bunch of like gifts and stuff for Christmas, which is really nice. And but outside, I've been doing just no speaking, starting with the, hitting uh that point of zero, which is just nothingness and just being calm um and working on that meditation part of it. And then, doing a little bit of ready, doing get it, in our driveway. We've been in the street, like doing some get it. And then at some point I'll just turn around and just have the food at my left side, and I'm not saying anything to him, and he comes right over to me, and then we're healing. I'm not saying it, but we're doing the thing. And so I did have a couple questions based on like what I was seeing, and
Yep.
I'm sure it's like, pretty simple stuff that we need to work through. But besides that, a lot of it's been like inside, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'll let Alyssa talk about, we've been doing more of the uh-uhs or enough and the collar grab when he's seeing dogs or people cross in front of the house. And you were just saying to your dad how good he's been.
Yeah, yes. So most of the time, we've only been seeing people walk, and I'm able to just say, and then he'll turn around, he'll look at me, he'll lay down, then I say enough, I do the collar grab, I do the pet and all of that. And then like maybe like a week ago, there was a dog and he did one little like growl bark, but then he turned on his own before I even said like he knew I was gonna say it. And then I said it. I was like, He laid down. His hair was up. Like he was ready to have a full reaction, but he didn't. And I did the enough and got him calmed down. And then like it was like right after that, another dog walked by and it was the same thing. He didn't have a reaction. And
Dude.
Yeah.
He's really
So
responsive to the and the enoughs. And it's just crazy.
whereas if we compared that to, we'll say a year ago, it was, I
I'd be
wouldn't,
like, I'd be dragging this guy off the window because he would, like,
Yeah.
no matter what I said, nothing was working.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I noticed that the window is open too. You guys don't have
yeah.
it like
Yeah.
covered up.
No, he's
So,
yeah, we trust him. Like we could both go downstairs now and we fully trust that he's not just going to be the neighborhood terror
Mhm.
every time somebody comes.
Even outside,
Yeah, even in the backyard, like
the dog was out.
the dog will come out and he either like obviously he knows that the dog is there, right? Like
Mhm.
we're talking about it. We've had some issues with Coco, so that's a whole other thing. But he our older guy, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he so Jeter's been in the yard and he'll just do one bark, and if he doesn't bring himself inside, which is an amazing thing to see, right? He's like, I can't do this. Like imagine
Yeah.
just like somebody like yells one thing at somebody and it's like, you know what, forget this. I gotta remove myself from this situation.
Yeah.
It's funny to see that, or we just do one and he comes right inside. And
Nice.
what I really like, and this is my favorite part that I think I like about it. You know when you get a dog to do something and they have the expectation to be rewarded, even if like they've been like corrected, right? Like let's say you're working with a dog, a reactive dog, prong collar, right? Like how we used to do it, right? And it's like a leash pop, and you tell them to sit, right? Like no, sit. Like this is what you're supposed to do, and they look at
Mhm.
you like, yeah, forget what I just did, but I sat, so I should like get my reward, right?
Yeah.
He has
Uh-huh.
no expectation of reward when we're like or enough or anything, which is amazing because
Nice.
I'd say in the past, no matter what form of training we were doing, he would always be looking like at our hands or like behind our back, like I get something for this, right? And like I really like that I'm sure it's a combination of him getting older and us just being so diligent with the training and being so consistent with it that
Hmm.
he's like understanding of what happens when we say this versus like,
Yeah.
I do this. Oh, you didn't give me something to do. I'm gonna go back to barking, right? Like that's what it used to be. Is like
Yep.
window, right? Because we've tried it before talking with you. We've tried different techniques of being like having food ready, telling him like no at the window, right? When we used to say that, and he'd come off, but hackles up, barking, give him a treat, tell him to sit, and then he's right back at the window. We're like, that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's he understands. Like it's almost like
Yeah.
like we have a contract with him, and he's like, oh yeah, right. Like I'm not supposed to do that. I'm sorry, and he just kind of lays down.
And I did give him, I think it was after he saw the second dog and he didn't react to it out the window. I did give him food because I was curious to see if it was gonna like get him more agitated or something, and it didn't. He still stayed low. He was laying down and he was good. And then I also just have been saying like good boy if he listens to the first and lays
Yeah,
down on his own.
he's not much. He doesn't really respond to when like he's getting we'll call it a proper reward. He's not very responsive in the sense of like you can tell when a dog like is happy when they get praise or like
Hmm.
he's not a like a verbal praise kind of dog. He like
Yeah, that makes
if
sense.
we tell him like good boy and we pet him, I don't think it has any sort of like I don't think it does anything for him. And I always wondered about that with him, but I we could definitely tell. Like obviously he's a like a lovey dog, but like he doesn't like if I were to like tell him to do something, I was like good boy, he'd be like yeah and like
Yeah.
he'd give you that kind of look like yeah and so yeah, I mean we've been doing a lot of stuff in the basement, just having fun, being kind of like looser with the I do get it every single night. I mean there's like I don't know how to say it. I do it every night. Like there's no night that I miss it. Even if we're out till 10 p.m. or something like that, and we come back, or I play a lot of like indoor volleyball or I'm golfing or something like that. I make sure like I can't go to bed unless I check that box and say like we hung out, like me and Jeter, like we did our thing. And
Yeah.
whatever combination of the exercises we're doing.
You started saying scatter.
Oh yeah, I've been doing scatter, like saying scatter, right? Because that was like a hole that I had that I didn't realize was like
Yep.
he would bark out the window and I would just chuck the food and he would give no notice to it. But now
Yep.
I'm saying scatter, and like tossing the food, and that's kind of how we've been opening up like going down to the basement is like right now if I said like ready and we'd like we'd run to the door together, I'd open the basement door, I'd grab a whole bunch of food and then say scatter, and then I'll give it to him while his nose is down, and that's kind of how I'll get him like started, and he
Okay.
really likes that, and then I'll start throwing the food and say get it and everything like that, and he likes that a lot.
Have you guys gotten to the point where you can go, just based on the way you described that,
Yeah.
where you can go downstairs and be hanging out in the basement space without him being amped?
Yeah. He was wrapping
I was, like,
presents
down there for like at least an hour. It was probably almost
with
2
my
hours.
sister.
It was with Jimmy's sister, and we were wrapping a whole bunch of gifts. And I wanted to bring him down and see, and he was mellow. He was in the beginning looking for like little scraps of food or something that might have been in the night before, and then I put a blanket down on the couch. He laid down, and he was fine the whole time.
Love it. I love it
Really
so
good.
much.
Yeah, I'll bring him down too. Like he'll follow me down because our laundry's downstairs and my office is downstairs. He'll follow me around, and he's not like I have a whole big box of his random toys and stuff like that, and it's up on a mini fridge, so he can't like get to it. But he's not like. We find it very interesting, and maybe this is like just a normal thing that you would expect to see. He would play without us before.
Yeah.
Like he still does it to a degree, but if we are like playing with him, like we're in ready mode, we're having fun. We have these I'm sure you've seen them. They're for bite work. They're the leather balls on like on a rope, it's a very short hand rope. It's not meant for like tug, but we do tug with it because it just like shreds because it's only made of leather, and it has just like soft stuff in it. He loves it as a ball that you can just chuck at a wall and he can like run and grab it. And he also loves when I chuck it onto the couch and he could just like launch onto the couch in the bait. That's his freaking favorite thing. This guy, he can jump like with all fours, like sideways, like horizontal. Like I've never seen a dog be able to do that because like when we're playing with him, if like I go to like grab him or something, like I'm playing with him, he'll like jump and spin in place, like on all four legs. The Catahoulas, I mean, they can climb trees, so he can do sorts of stuff. But yeah, like if we're playing and then I go and like do the laundry, but I haven't said enough or okay, we're still like kind of in that mode. He'll drop the toy and like follow me. Whereas like before he would just be like, oh, I got the toy. I'm just going to tear this thing to a million pieces. I don't really give a crap about what you're doing.
Right? Nice.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know if you would have expected that to happen or that's like a result of just having that very clear, like we're playing together kind of thing. Because there hasn't been a time where we've said ready and he hasn't wanted to, like, hasn't engaged with us.
Awesome. That's great.
There's been a time where like, I'm sure in the beginning there was like maybe 1 or 2 times where like he was like, oh no, I'm gonna just like he'd go in the basement, we'd say ready, or like we set it up here, then we'd get down and he's like, oh, I don't really want to play with you guys, where we had to put him in the crate. We have in recent memory we haven't had that situation. But yeah, I mean we've been telling like our family, I've been getting your name out there. I've been trying to tell some of my other Long Island friends that it's worth it to do it over Zoom and talk with you, because I have another close friend whose wife is expecting. She's very early on, but they have a Husky German Shepherd mix. He's a disaster. Digger.
I mean, I would just expect him to be just by those genetics, but
he's a digger. He digs, like, not just dig in the ground, like he dug like a 12 by 12. They could have had an in-ground swimming pool. And I mean, they have the super e-collar on where it has like the ones that like get underneath his skin because he has such thick fur. He's a good dog. Like he has good genetics. They just didn't do what they were supposed to do with him. And they're obviously nervous with the baby because he's just a lot and he's like 90 pounds. So yeah, they might be coming your way if you got some time.
Cool.
But yeah,
we're getting ready to start we're just now opened up signups for another of the group classes.
How was that
Um,
going? How was that going?
which, you know, it went really better than I expected.
Yeah.
I just sent out like a survey and I'm waiting to get all the info
Yeah,
back.
I got the text and the email. We'll be filling it out.
Sweet, thanks. Um, the so like I'm waiting for a little bit of feedback, but so far it's been good. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that it's 6 weeks, right? So it is you know, we're gonna go Tuesday at 5, 6 weeks in a row,
Hmm.
and it's 6 lessons, not 10, like we're doing.
Yeah.
And so like my thought process is I'm going to give a piece of this, a piece of this, and a piece of this every week, and we're
Every
going to
week. Yeah, it's a
move on
lot.
through.
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so like I told, you know, like it's not so that you're all done at the end of this.
Yeah.
It's so that you have all the exercises and the videos and you're good to go. So like it's a little fast, but other than that, I think that it went really well. My feedback so far has been really great.
That's all.
So I love that I can have that like little bit of a lower cost option.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
nice.
then I'm getting real close to having the online without me at all, watch the videos.
Right. Yeah. You had said that, release
Yeah.
kind of like
So
that lesson plan. That's awesome.
yep, that's going to be another. God, I don't know. It depends. It could be another 10 days before it's ready, or it could be another 10 months. It just depends
Yeah.
on
Hey
my
man,
brain
power to
doing
you.
things.
You're creating a really good platform. So it's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
so things have been, very good. Obviously, we've been we've definitely slacked on the baby blanket kind of thing, like the balled up
Sure.
blanket. We definitely have to get back on that. Alyssa's finally she's feeling okay.
Yeah.
Very sleepy, entering the sleepy phase. Just so today
All right.
she's 12 weeks today, so 3 months. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine entering a sleepy phase. Like I literally take, I'm pretty sure that they only make Adderall in like up to 40 milligrams.
Sure.
And I take 30 twice a
Okay.
day,
Okay.
plus drink 4 caffeine doses, right?
Yeah.
Like Red Bulls or coffee or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I'm like normal. Like I couldn't imagine having a sleepy phase. Like I won't move, right? Like no, I like you. Somebody else is gonna take all my energy. No, it's not. No.
Yeah.
So hats off to you there, friend.
No, I need her to start napping. She was actually consulting Jeter yesterday because Jeter was napping on the couch, and she was like, "Teach me how to sleep."
Yeah.
He's napping right now.
Great.
We just had them over, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see him settle.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying anything, like, but there's also no expectation. Like, if he wants to play tug with me in the middle, like, if I can see him be a little bit antsy and I just say the word and we start playing, he's going to do it. But and I'm ready for it, right? And I also have food, like your example, where we're not out in the club. Like, we got food all over the place. We got food all over the place, and we're ready if I need to, if he's being, he's being a little much for whoever's here. And he just chills. He just lays, and he's just over, that 3-year mark, which, they do say that Catahoula's take a long time to mature. That's like what they're notorious for. We also didn't sign up for this, like having this wild animal in our house,
right?
Out of the goodness of our heart, going to our local rescue and rescuing this guy. This is what we got. But it's almost like the reactivity is, obviously when the weather starts to warm up and things start happening again, everything's a little bit dormant right now.
Sure.
But, I feel it. I feel the relationship even more now.
Nice.
And it's just that clarity, like you said from the beginning, of even him understanding what does yes mean versus, what is what does mean and enough and ready, like what, like giving those words context, um
Yeah.
and actually seeing him understand. But yeah.
You guys have done a great job. Like this is one of those things where, you know, you needed to work this hard, and
Hmm.
you're not by any
Not
means
done.
done. You
Yeah.
know, we're never done training a dog, but
Right,
like to
right.
get to this place where things are falling into place, like
Hmm.
you needed to work as hard as you've been. Like you haven't like, overdone it.
Yeah,
And that's why something like this is so hard, because you understand like what kind of work that takes. And so
exactly.
like good on you, right? And I know you've been working that hard since you got him,
The
and
day this
like
guy came in here.
yeah. I mean, the thing that is like awesome, but also gave you just a tinge. And remember, don't feel bad about this. You were working
Sure.
on somebody else's information, but it's like some of these things are like we've done the thing that we were told so much too much, right? Like that's the whole like
Yep.
why he doesn't like the verbal commands
Of
Yeah.
course.
is because
Yeah.
we did that so much,
Yeah.
which is like, again,
Right.
good on you for
Right.
doing the
Right.
amount of work.
Yeah.
Just, that sucks that every once in a while we're into the wrong information. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
but no, great, fantastic job. I love getting these updates from you guys. It's awesome. Let me ask a couple questions though.
Sure.
You said, so one of the things that you said is that you're giving him game time every single day, right?
Mhm.
Is that like where in your mind is that? Is that I must do for him to have success, as in satisfying him? Is that I am enjoying this and want to keep this going, so I do it every day? Like,
Mhm.
where is
Yeah.
your mindset on that?
It's both places. It, like, as I prepare to have a human child, he's my son, and like I look at it in
Mhm.
that kind of way where um like how we've drawn the parallels that me and you are very similar in the sense,
Mhm.
um we can get shit done, but at the same time it's like if I don't keep myself in check, I fall
Mhm.
out of line very easily. So
Yep.
it's like I I now enjoy it so much that it's like even for me, I don't feel satisfied unless we've done this, right? And he has plenty of days where if I'm working late and stuck on the train or something like that, we'll both admit it, you don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not
So
usually going down by
this
myself.
guy's just hanging out being a lazy bum, and it's not like he starts wreaking havoc because
Good.
his needs haven't been satisfied. Dude, we play and this guy's tapping out on me. Like
Good.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm gonna set up a camera because I know we've definitely, like, I have not shared enough of what it actively looks like when we're doing stuff, but I feel like you'll crack up because I do the funniest freaking gestures ever. We have a couch with a chase on it, right? Like it's a long
Uh-huh.
thing, and that's his like pounce position. Like I tell him up and he's like, okay, here we go. And like I'll mess with him and I'll pretend to toss it and I'll work on the uh-uhs because he'll launch himself off and I'm like, I didn't say get it. That doesn't mean you get
Right.
to go. And I'll say and he'll do his catahoula-ness and pop backwards, like almost rewind himself back onto the couch, right? He'll like rewind himself back onto the couch and then he'll wait for me to say get it. And I'll do get it. I mean, he's full on sprinting back and forth over like the 25 feet in our basement. And then I also do playtime with nails. I have a scratch board. So what we'll do is he knows scratch and you'll crack up on this on video. He's like falling onto the scratch board because he's so shot from us. I mean, it's a combination of he's faded away from tug, but I think it's because he only wanted to play tug so that he could get the toy and kind of like just chew on it. And I
Mhm.
think now that we're more interactive,
Mhm.
likes the games where it's like a ball and I'll like tug it away from him or I'll let him have it. But then like either drops it or gives it to me, and we'll run to one side and I'll chuck it and he'll run after it. It's more interactive games. Not that Tug's not interactive, but I think in his mind he saw Tug as like, yeah, this is fun, but I can't wait to just sit and chew this thing, which is like what
Right.
we do with in the beginning, right? It's like
Right. Yep.
because we let him do that. It was like the consuming part of the play
Yep.
was like, this is all I care about, right? Like
Yep.
you could go disappear. I don't really care where you're like talking to me. But now it's like, because I think one of the flaws I have is I might overuse ready. Like I'll say it to start, but then like if we're playing, if I want him to like do something without giving him command, I'll say like, "Are you ready?" And he'll like drop the toy. That way he knows that we're still like playing. Because if I say drop it, he kind of like loses enthusiasm. Like he still
Okay.
kind of has that, we'll call it like PTSD from like me ending play by saying drop it.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I say it, he's like, "Oh man, like what do you mean? Like why are we done?" And it's kind of hard to rev him back up. But if I
Mm-hmm.
just say, like I'll like whisper it to him, I'll be like, "Ready?" And he'll like drop the ball and he'll run with me. Like I'll run with him like really close to his face, and then I'll chuck it and he'll jump on the couch, and then we'll play until he's gassed, like gassed. And that's how I kind of realize he's getting a little bit older. He's not his puppy self anymore, because I'll usually end with some scratch board and
Yep.
he's like sitting on me. Granted, he's 75 pounds, trying to like put his nails on this thing. And he's just like, I know what you want me to do, but I just can't do it. And then he'll like stairs and he'll just sleep the whole, like literally the rest of the night.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
to answer your question, it's both. It's I enjoy doing it a lot, right? And like I enjoy
Good.
doing it because even more so than it being like a chore. We'll put like how it used to be. It used to feel like a chore where like if I don't put this effort in, I know we're not going to have success going forward, right?
Yep.
Like all the TikTok videos where you see the people who they're training heel, every day, 10 minutes a day, twice
Yep.
a day, right? In short sessions. And that's what I was doing. Is I
Yep.
was like, if I get his heel perfect, he knows what he needs to do, he won't react. Right.
Yep.
Which is like now, thanks to you, is like I wouldn't say the opposite, but I'll say the word opposite right now to be like, I'm not relying on his obedience to get us through this.
Yep.
Right. It's like I'm everything that we've talked about. And like that's I feel like is unlocking another level when I want to play with him, because I know he's enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. We're just having a good time. It's just a guy and his dog having a good time.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We're like I know what obviously I know I have intention with what I'm doing with some of the food play, right? Like,
Mhm.
we all have intent. There's all reasons why I'm doing it, but I'm not like doing it like, all right, I got to do this 5 more times and he'll really
Yeah.
there's
Good.
there's not like an amount of food, there's not like an amount of time. It's like we're just playing until like either Alyssa's like, "Hey, can you come up?" or he's gassed and I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're done."
Cool.
And I'll every night I end it the same way. I'll either like he knows it now, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. Is he kind of gets the enough collar grab like
Mhm.
so much because we do it
Mhm.
every single day.
Yeah.
And he kind of like enoughs himself,
Yeah.
and like he'll just be like, "I know we're going upstairs," and he'll
Yeah.
kind of like do like the head low, like I'm cool, man. Like to kind of like if you were not just if you were drunk driving and you're like trying to get away with being sober, that's what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I'm calm. Like I'm not rev. Like you've seen it.
Yeah.
He's like he like sits at like near the staircase, like we're going upstairs anyway, right? And I'm like, come on, dude. Let's go. Let's do it. And we do the rub down and we do everything. And
Yeah.
I'm very diligent about it, right? It's like, sometimes he's like, I can see it where he's like, I get it. He's like, I'm tired already. Like I'm not gonna keep playing. I'm not gonna, be in
Right.
that mindset anymore. And that's what I wanted to ask you is like, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the idea with all of this,
Mhm.
right, is to move towards a more fluent existence,
Right.
right? Because with like Coco, right? That's the other dog, right?
Mhm.
So those ears.
He's-
So you never had to do any of this shit with Coco.
never.
No.
And like when I know he's a little bit older now, but like Coco liked to play when he was younger.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So like if we go outside, Coco goes, "Hey, we're going like you put me outside, right? You put me outside. All right, cool. You're not coming. I'm going to the bathroom, right? Whatever. No big
Yeah.
deal, right? That's thing one. Next step, like we go outside together. Oh, cool. I love it when you come outside together. Are we gonna like do the fun?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, then you're like sit in a chair, right? And
Yeah.
read the book, and he goes, "Oh, okay, I guess this isn't that." And
Yeah.
he goes and like sniffs and does his own thing and like
Yeah.
isn't the problem, right?
Right.
But you pick up the ball,
Yeah.
right? It's not a ball, it's a tape measure. But you pick up the ball and he goes, "Oh hell yeah, love this part." And then he gets excited. We throw
Right.
the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. Cool. You put the ball down or you bring it back
Yeah.
or he brings it back and you're like, "No, I'm not doing it anymore." And he's like, "All right, cool. Guess we're done doing that."
Mhm.
And then you go back inside and he goes, "All right, cool. Guess we're inside." And his
Yeah.
energy's low, right?
Yeah.
So like he understands how to act appropriately when and where,
Yeah.
right? And you
100%.
don't have to tell him how to act and how to feel and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need any of this. So what we're aiming for with Jeter
Yeah.
is to bring him into a similar idea.
Got
So
it.
like
Yeah.
if we're upstairs, we're hanging out, we're in the living room, I'm gonna go switch the laundry, right? Laundry's in the basement, right?
Correct.
So like if you're gonna just go downstairs and he's just gonna come with you
Mhm.
and you get downstairs and he's like, "Cool, man, downstairs. Yeah. Oh, you're changing the laundry. Cool, man. Yeah, cool. All right." And then you change the laundry and you go back upstairs,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Is he going, is he Zoe going, "Hey, we were supposed to play. Hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey,"
Yeah.
or is he like, "Oh, yeah, cool. We came down here. There was like maybe a chance.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. No big deal. Go back upstairs. You sit back on the couch to watch your show or whatever you're doing." And he's like, "Yeah, cool, man. No big deal."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He just navigated all those same feelings and expectations
Right.
without you having to guide him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So, and then if I go downstairs to switch the laundry and he flies down the stairs and spins a circle and looks at you, play bow, front end
Yeah.
up, ass, or, front end down,
Yeah.
ass in the air, like, "Hey, man, we going to do the thing." And you're like,
Yeah.
enough. Like,
Yeah.
you're not in trouble, but that's not what we're doing.
Right.
You need to be enough. Okay, cool. Guess we're not doing that. No big deal.
Right.
Mhm.
And like, then he successfully navigated that. We changed the laundry, go back upstairs, sit back down. No big deal. How does he handle all of that? What used to be a lot of emotional roller coaster, right? Now, is he gaining that skill just in and around the house to be able to navigate things?
Yeah.
And if he can successfully, then you can manage less,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I will admit, I'll tell you right now that like my dogs, like Freet is getting close because I'm being the most diligent with him about collar grab down to relaxation,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But my two adults, like they both think it's optional unless we're not going anywhere for a minute
Right.
or two, right? Like
Right.
I haven't done that much repetition just
Right.
because, I got a billion things to do, just like anything else
Right.
you should do that
Right.
haven't done, right?
Right.
But I can also play my game tell them enough mid game, like
Yeah.
enough, right? And then we can walk back inside and they
And
can
they
bring
can,
their energy down
yeah,
successfully,
they
right?
can regulate themselves. Yeah.
Right. And we've
Keep
like been to that point, and now we're kind of backing off of that point where, like, if it's less of a big deal, then we can bring it, then we can manage it less.
Yeah. I'm just always like, as you can tell, I'll always err on the side of like, I'm gonna continue until I like talk with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
Yeah.
because we've been just burnt so many times and told so many times in our past that we're not putting in enough effort or we're not doing it
Yeah.
consistently. And
I will. You guys have put in more fucking effort on this dog than just about any clients I've ever had.
thank you. It's
Like, no joke. So, like, when it comes to are we putting in enough effort? And
yeah,
this is another one of these interesting things where, like, I hate for you to, like, I hate that this is the experience that you've had, but like, you guys are the poster children for like all of the little nitpicky shit that I get pissed at other dog trainers for
yeah,
doing, because, like, you know, it's there's like so much attached to that, like, hey, you didn't work hard enough.
yeah. And that's
And
what
like,
will never fall short. I can guarantee that. Yeah.
right, but then again, like that, on the other side of it, we've ran into where that
Has
is
actually
the
hurt me.
part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't a
Sure.
negative on any individual trainer that you have worked with,
Right, right.
but I will say that in dog training, because, and like, man, again, you've done the appropriate amount of work, right? And so, like, that's a ton. And
Yeah.
so when we go like, you're not putting in the enough work, it's usually actually not that. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just that we're missing the fact that, like, this is where the behavior is continuing to get rewarded, and
Right.
it's the trainer that is not finding the proper solution and then just going like, you're not working hard enough. That's where the
Right.
issue is.
Right.
It's your fault, not mine. I
Right.
don't need to feel bad. I don't need to work harder
Right.
at my end,
And
right?
that's where
Because
we would say that you have been by far the best in that, and like everything, but also that specifically, like that's what I tell everybody, like all my friends and everything that like either have dogs or they don't. Obviously, I just fire off of the mouth, but it's like that's what I say. It's like it's like you're in our corner physically. That's what it truly feels like. And like if someone were to ask me like how would I sum it up shortly, that's what I would say what it's been like working with you. Is that like if we had something which we never had in the past, and I would not scream at her, but scream into the ether. Oh, scream into the ether and say, why is nobody like we are saying I am putting in the effort and it is not working with my dog.
Mhm.
Why can you not give me something else to try? Because clearly this is not working. And like you just said, they go, you must not be doing it hard enough. And I'm
hard
like,
enough, fast enough,
right,
but whatever your timing,
exactly. But we
it's like,
did, I don't think we ever shared this with you. We did have our first, we'll say the category, the compulsion trainers that we worked.
mhm.
The guy that we had worked with was actually outside of his facility. I'll almost put it in that I'm sure you heard of it. That whatever that facility was that was like abusing the animals, that like on social media like went crazy or whatever, and that like I forget what that place was. But there was a place that was caught on video, like actually like abusing the dogs that
Right.
were
Yep.
service dogs and
Yep.
all this kind of stuff. So we'll almost put them in that category of like in their facility, they were like so militant, like as if like Big Brother was watching, where it was like, oh, like that dog reacted because the e-collar wasn't on 120 and you didn't hold it down, right? Like you know what I mean? Like I'll put that at the extreme. But the trainer we had worked with, I knew had a much softer side. His name was Jimmy also. And we got him. I said, I will pay whatever money it is. you are going to come to my house, right? And they're very close to us. They're local. They're 15 minutes away. You are going to come to my house and you are going to bring a truckload of dogs and we are going to work with Jeter coming out of the house until, because that's what I felt like we didn't have. I was like, we are
Right.
working on it, man. We were
Right.
group classes with 15 completely flooding him, right?
Mhm.
That we understand that concept. But Jeter was an angel. I mean, like performing, like doing agility work with other dogs around him, right? Like,
Right.
and I'm like, dude, this is not working. We can't go from him blowing up because he sees one other dog when we're on a walk, and then you say you need to come to more group classes. Clearly, this is not working. This is not even the same
Right.
thing. So we
Right.
finally got that trainer here. And when he was here by himself with like apprentices, like holding other dogs, Jeter did horrible. We got nowhere with it, right?
Right.
He basically said like that he was in our house, like don't do the e-collar, don't do the prong collar, flat collar. This is not like it took him to be like physically in our house for him to like
Right.
re-engineer his mind to be like, I understand what you guys mean, that this
Yeah.
is not working. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what was frustrating to me. And it was crazy. I mean, like, not everybody can say this. We're both very fortunate that I paid this guy, we'll say $500 to come to the house to
Sounds about
never
right.
see him again. Like
Right.
that's what like even like because I knew he was gonna like offer us an alternate thing, I was like, well, guess what? Because you did that, you confirmed my theory. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna associate with anything you guys ever do again. Because
Yeah,
it's
you took him all the way to the end of the line, and he goes, "I don't know anything else to do. Sorry, I got nothing."
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
and he started to talk about like you need to either not walk him or like they had no answer for me, right? And it was
Right.
like, and that's where like you have like changed everything about this because I fire off at the mouth, but you listen and then you give us solutions. That's the biggest thing. That is the absolute biggest thing that helps us is because you give us stuff that works for her and stuff that works for me, and like that like allows us to not be worried and not have like we were in the camp before where we're like, well, we guess we can't have anybody come over,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Right.
And-
And we're the type of people where like unfortunately we put 100% into everything. So these are our dogs. We're going to put 100% into them. And guess what? We're just not going to see anybody. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
we love our dogs, right? Like I'm not going to put them in like him in a stressful situation all the time because I want to see this buddy. No, we'll go out to the bar. We'll go somewhere else. Like you don't need to come here. But I feel like now, like I understand Jeter more and he understands us more through you providing and listening to us. So
Mhm.
that's what like you're saying that we did such a good job. I'm saying that you have done such a good job. And like it's more than such a good job. It's like I talk about you at least once a week to somebody.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay, let me steer us back into some functional things. I did
Yes.
want to ask about one more thing, and I think that the answer is it's fucking cold, so no.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about going back to the parking lot.
Yeah, we haven't done it.
Cool, no worries. Like, dude, I'm in Georgia and it's cold, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to. Like, no, I'm such a baby about. I was like, when I was in high school, I wore shorts and a t-shirt like every day in St. Louis, snow on the ground. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, not bothering me. Now I don't want to go outside. It's cold,
Yeah.
like at all, and it's like 40. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
the mornings are full frost, like sub 20 degrees. And
yeah, like
also
it-
the parking lot, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The parking lot that we used around this time of the year, they run a catering company.
uh-huh.
It looks like New York City in this parking lot. Like
Oh, okay.
it's crazy. So obviously there's other places that we can. I'm on vacation now. I'm on vacation until after the new year, which is my company
Nice.
closes. Thank you, MLB. And so I'm gonna have a lot more free time. So I plan on doing it at least once. So I will, shoot you a text and
Yeah,
let you
you
know.
know it goes.
Because I'm excited. I'm really excited about it in a not fearful way anymore. Right? where like
Awesome.
always having that escape hatch of just getting in the car and going home, which is like,
Yep.
you know, the thing that I always struggled with was I was like, you know, with the other people was always like, but when he reacts, what do I do?
Yeah.
So like you just keep going and you just keep blasting him. He'll get it.
Yeah.
And just knowing that like we're not making and having the confidence that we're not regressing in any way by pulling that escape hatch and just moving on makes me so comfortable in like doing the situation because I'd reach that point where I'd want you, it's going to sound silly, I'd want you standing by my side to be like, well, you should do this now.
Right.
Like
Right.
but like I do feel like you're right there because we've worked through this, right? And like where I'm like, if Joel was here, he'd be like, bro, get him out of here. Like this
Yeah.
is not going well, right? And like it's good because I felt like we never knew, right? Like we'd take him out, and the other end, right? Like you said, we work so hard. I would walk this guy
Yeah.
every day, and he would react every day.
Yep.
She'd come in and be like, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "How do you think it went?" Jeter looks like he just got hit by a car. I'm
Yeah.
sweating. Like my clothes are everywhere. I got the e-collar, the prong collar, the treats, you know, raw food. I got everything on me, and like it looked like we got hit by a bus. But yeah, so I'm excited to do the parking lot and do that, you know, and having that mindset that we're at zero. We're not in the basement, right? We have our arenas, the basement, the living room, the driveway, the parking lot, right? And like, you know, I understand that you need to start from square one or zero because I'm an engineer. I started zero. Zero everywhere, right? Is like you need to start there. So, and the meditation has been really helpful.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm doing a live Tuesday with another dog trainer friend of mine. He does lots of lives on TikTok, and he mentioned he was spieling me that we're doing a talk together, and half of it was about me being a hypnotist, and I was like,
what's his
not
hand?
all that relevant, but it has been particularly relevant a time or two. So
Yeah.
all right. So a couple of things where to jump back into where we were talking about letting go a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like seeing how you can manage him less and seeing what happens. All right. So like, and you guys are telling me that you're ready for that step, right? Because if like, let's play a game, right?
Yeah.
Somebody walks by the front window and you don't do anything at all, what do you think would happen?
I think he would bark and still turn and look for one of us.
And if we don't do anything, he'll go back to bark.
Don't say or enough to like confirm that he just did the right thing by looking at us, I think he would go back to the window and bark. I don't think he'd be doing it at like a level 10 like he used to. Like I hear it even in his barks. They're kind of more like lame. They're like
That's it. He was like go through the window. He went through our front door. So
yeah.
And he didn't even bite them. Like, obviously, I don't want my dog to bite anybody, but he did this whole theatrical thing and then did nothing when he got there. I'm like, you're such a wimp. What's it?
Yeah, that's
so
why
sad.
he's in this whole situation.
It's so sad to be like, you do this whole show, and even when Coco, like when they're playing, Jeter loves playing with Coco. That's what makes me, you know, if anything there is to be sad about it, is like he would do so well if he got to know another dog that's playful, right? Because Coco's 14. The dude's going to be 50. He's, let's face it, he's 1 foot in the grave. Like but he still plays, right? And they do well. But Jeter's fucking petrified of this guy. Like, if Coco actually goes after him, Jeter yelps.
Yeah.
Like a baby. Like, he puts his paws in the air and jumps. Like, Coco's going to tear him in half. And that's how you know that, like, this is fear, right? Like it's not aggression. And like, you know, obviously, you know,
There would be some, you know, if you had some, like if you had a friend and you guys both had dogs and you were dog people and you were like, hey, I want to work on this, but like I need somebody that's gonna help. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna be like, you know, do it once, sit here for 10
yeah,
minutes
no,
and
no,
then
no.
let the dogs go. It's gonna be, you know, a
Over
long
time.
road.
Yeah.
And like now again, you can find like if you have like it doesn't have to be somebody in your current friends
Right.
group. Like you could
Someone who's
post
responsible.
in your local town Facebook group, like, hey, here's what I got going on. This is like, is anybody interested? I don't give a shit if you tell them some of the shit that I said, right?
Yeah.
Go for it. Right. But you know, enter that conversation of going like, hey, this isn't gonna be like go to the park, go for a walk, let the dogs run around inside the baseball field. This is gonna be like go to the park and don't talk to each other 10 times
Yeah.
and then we might
Yeah.
get to go for a walk, right? And
Right.
like
Yeah.
having somebody buy into that, or
Yeah.
or having people that'll go like, look, I want to go for a dog play date. I'm working towards that, but like we might show up and I'm on one side of the football field and you're on the other side, and my dog can't calm down. And that might be all that happens. So if that sounds annoying to you, then like,
Yeah. No,
you
that's
know,
definitely an interesting thing I never thought about because we do have friends who have a lot of dogs, and I don't trust these people as long as I could throw them. I
no,
trust them as people, but not with dogs.
No.
right. They're not going to do the thing, right? So,
No, they're gonna be like, dude, just let him go.
so like there would be and like, you know, even at that, like I'll be the first to admit the dude just let him go is what 90% of dog owners do. And then, you know, a very teeny tiny percentage of that actually goes bad,
Right.
but you guys got a high level of possibility. So
Oh
like,
yeah, because
and
we've
but
tried that. I've tried.
positive dog on dog interaction, even if it involved like back in the day, we used to do play groups,
Okay.
right? Where we would do daycare with dogs like Jeter, right? And part of that is flooding. And the flooding allows them to have positive experiences
Yeah.
and they get better over time.
Wow.
Those facilities that have that ability are few and far between.
Right.
But like, you know, and I don't know anybody in your area that supplies that. Call Brett and see if he knows anybody, right?
He'll say, "You got to come to New York
But
City."
right.
Pain in the
But the what I want you guys to start doing
hmm
is giving him the option to make the right decision.
Okay.
Okay. So
Let it
like,
go a bit.
but this is the same thing as always, right? We have a what are we going to do if it goes right?
Mhm,
What are we going to do if it goes wrong?
mhm.
All right. So, like, same idea as before. Dog walks in front of the front window. Okay. He barks once,
Mhm.
then looks at you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good boy.
Okay.
Yes. Reward.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I did that very specifically because you said good boy doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So if we start to show him good boy happens along the path to yes,
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yep.
good boy, keep doing that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It might lead to a reward,
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That's very clear.
right? And so like well, I'll give you another way to implement that. Maybe we'll get there today, maybe we won't, but I don't want to be confusing yet, right? But I want you to start seeing, what is he going to do, right? Is he going to bark once? Because in all of the barking that we had, he now believes the bark is it's superstitious. Like, right,
Yeah.
that one bark is probably always going to be around.
Yeah.
But
it's fine.
Mhm.
if like a dog starts to walk by and he goes, huh? And you can catch him before he barks,
Yeah.
then we might fade that out,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like if, okay, so dog walks in front of the window and he goes, huh? And you go, yes, give him a reward. And then instead of going back, it's reward, 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 keeping him from going back. Okay. Then, so like, and there's some nuance here. So I think you guys can hang with this. Let me know if it gets confusing. Okay. If I notice that he noticed,
Yeah.
I can reward him being quiet.
Yes.
Okay. So like here, like somebody walks in front of the window, he goes, huh?
Yeah.
And you go, yes, or scatter or whatever.
Right. Right.
So that he doesn't react.
Yep.
Okay. If you scatter, he now had some time to gather that reward.
Yeah.
Dog's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So like now dog happened, bark didn't happen, reward happened.
Yes.
Okay. That's a timing thing. If you
Yeah.
can catch that, great.
Yeah.
Make that reward big.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're noticing that he notices,
Mhm.
not us reacting to the bark, right? Because we're not
Yeah.
sitting there staring out the window, right? So like we're not going to know that this person's coming or this dog's coming, right?
Mhm.
What's the first signal?